Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, I was kind of cleaning out and going through my bag here, and this is kind of things I use on almost a daily basis if I'm doing some sort of a handyman DIY project. And these are tools that are fairly basic, fairly inexpensive for the most part, and can get you through just about most any project. So, and they all fit in this bag. So I kind of decided I would go through it and kind of explain to you what I have in the bag. This may be boring to some of you, but for some of you that, just want a small, this is the size of it compared to my hand, sort of. It's not huge. But it carries quite a few things. In fact, there's probably a few things in here. Things kind of come and go depending on the project sometimes, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I've pulled everything out because I've started pulling a bunch of stuff out, and then I just start shoving it back in and not worrying about where I put it because I get in too big a hurry. But anyhow, these are things that if you're kind of just starting out and want to know what kind of basic tools that kind of every homeowner should have, basically, then I figured I would do this. So obviously you got the bag. I've had 2 or 3 of these bags in the past and kind of get bigger and bigger as I go half the time, it seems like, but I try and keep them fairly small and compact best I can. This little Husky one from Home Depot, there's several different types of these, but it seems to do pretty good. And I left these in here just because they're kind of difficult to pull everything out. Obviously this I could have pulled out, but there's a chalk line. Chalk lines can not only act as marking things to cut, but also you can use them as like a pendulum or what am I trying to say? Plumb bob. That's the word I'm going for. It even says it right on there. Plumb bob. Chalk line. And basically it hangs down, and the point down there, you hang it from whatever it is. And when it comes down, it rests in a certain spot. You can mark your spot from up above. Anyway, so it can be pretty handy, work as a couple different tools, and it fits right in the pocket there. Now, something with this bag I've noticed, if I put the whole thing down in there, it's kind of difficult to get out, so I just leave this hanging out and it kind of stays in there. Something else I have, I used to just carry one set of earphones, but I realized a lot of times when I'm doing something where I need earphones, I got somebody else holding the other end of it or helping me do something. So I got a couple on here, and I just took a chunk of copper wire and put around there, a few chunks of copper wire. And on the end of that, I actually put one of these wire nuts here, and that just kind of keeps you from poking yourself on it. With that, I can hang that stuff on there, and it stays there pretty good. I can move it out of my way pretty well. I got some pens, papers, a couple of these, because I always have extra ones of those when I need them. A couple pairs of scissors, one's for kind of more for sandpaper and one's for better cutting stuff. Bunch of pens, markers, that kind of stuff in there. On the other side here, I left these in here too because they're kind of a pain to get in and out. One at a time, it's alright. But several wire ties, different sizes, from smaller to bigger. And a couple of these little clamp things because they just kind of come in handy to hold things up, and I got even some smaller ties down there. So those always come in handy for whatever you're doing. Now spend money on those. Don't buy the cheapy ones from Harbor Freight and stuff because they really don't work as well. Something else that goes with the bag here, and the reason why I separated it is because if you notice, this has a really nice thick shoulder pad on it, and I use this on it all the time. Sometimes I just use that, but a lot of times I use this. But the reason I separated it is because this is off of another bag I had. I don't even remember, I think I got it at like Goodwill or free at a garage sale type thing, but I almost pretty much just got it for that pack because it was so nice and comfy. It's got really big straps on it and good sized clips for holding it in on the edge here. So anyway, it came with a different one, and so I put that one on there because it just really works well when I'm holding on for with my shoulder there. Then, you know, your obvious adjustable wrench, pair of adjustable pliers here, cutters. These things, I use them from everything from prying things out, cutting wires, to just a lot of things, even holding things. Cotter pins and things are really good with these. A pair of cutting shears, just never know when you're going to cut a piece of tin for some reason. Small pry bar, Harbor Freight. This thing's been beat to heck and back, but it holds up and it's still here. Several different kinds of scrapers and putty knives. Cutting tools. You'll notice some electrical wire. That's always handy. You'll notice I got the tin here, and that has cutting tool. Well, it used to have all the end pieces that go on the cutting tools. And the reason I put it in there is because it kind of stays out of the way. And the reason, this is actually off of one of my, in fact, I think it might be off of that right there. But I'm not sure if it was this one or one of my other drills that I had. I just took a sheet metal screw, screwed that in there. So when I put it in a pocket, I'll just do it on the outside here, it hangs over the edge, and I can easily grab it and get it out fairly quickly. Handy little thing, not to mention if I really wanted to, I can hook it there if I really needed to. So, anyway, when I put that back together, Altoids tin, like that, works really good for that kind of stuff. Big screwdriver, yet again, pry bar screwdriver. This thing's probably older than me, but it's sturdy and holds up, and I've used it from opening paint cans to closing paint cans to everything else. Couple of little levels, and the reason I have two is because a lot of times I'm kind of leveling something this way, but I also want to make sure it stays going this direction as well, so then I can have both levels going in two different directions. We're good to go. So both of these were just things I found, I don't know, garage sale, my dad's place, who knows what. Drill bits, not even really a good set of drill bits to what most people call the Harbor Freight ones. These are, I got that for $9.99 on sale, and these drill bits, yeah, the smaller ones break, but I've never had any kind of good, even good drill bits that the smaller ones didn't break fairly quickly on. As far as the rest of them, these drill bits are great. I have another set, like the big set that I have in my garage, and I haven't had any problems with them. Now these, on the other hand, these step bits, really not meant for much more than, you know, fairly thin sheet metal or something like that. I wouldn't go any real thick stuff with this. These aren't that great, I'll be honest with you. But when you need to drill a little pilot hole in something real quick, it's easy to throw on. This came off a fireplace thing, but it makes a good brush. And actually, a lot of times when I'm, you know, like when I was building the walls and stuff over here, you can take and brush out, you know, all the way along the wall and kind of make sure you get things out of your way before you put things down. You can use it to, you know, brush off projects, whatever you got. It's really handy to have that. I use that a lot, actually, surprisingly. Several different bits, because I'm always breaking them. Now another thing, on the back of these you'll notice they have magnets, and I'll show you a little bit later how those work. Your safety equipment, you know, pair of safety glasses, good lung protection, those are pretty good. Some gloves, and different flashlights. This one, you know, little spots you can get in there. This one I put on my head. I use this a lot when I'm doing electrical work, to be honest. I should kind of have that more in with my electrical stuff, but I have a couple of these I'm going to find and put another one in. And then a bigger one I can put my batteries on, and it sits there, and this head moves around and stuff on it. I've done video on this, but anyway, works good. Drill bits again. This is old Black & Decker paddle bits that I got a whole set of. And I've really been happy with these. I think I bought them at like Kmart a long time ago, actually. I'm not even sure if it was Kmart or Walmart. But I bought these quite a while ago, and they work pretty well. Cheap square. Always using that to mark stuff with, cut stuff with, all that kind of stuff. Something else that's usually in here which I have over here right now. I need to go get my other ones. I have another set of these in my garage that I don't use that I'm going to put in here, but I usually have a set of screwdrivers as well. But that's kind of all the little doodads and thingamajigs. I'm going to put this all back together and then show you kind of what the main reason for this is. Well, there you go. I got everything in there. It's not too heavy, but if I gotta go out to the garage or whatever, you got that on there. Holds everything up. Got everything in there. Now, if I need, I can throw a little hammer in there, and you know, this kind of is a little bit fluid depending on the job I'm going to do. But if I grab that and I grab that right there, I can do most every job from electrical, mostly is what's in that bag right there, to I could even spackle some walls if I needed to. Usually I end up using these more like pry bars and scrapers than I do anything else, but you know, so be it. I can mark things, I can have all my ear and eye protection, all that kind of stuff. I can level stuff, little shelves and things like that. I can see because I got several different things in there. I can hook things with those, all kinds of stuff. I even got extra pockets where I can put more stuff. Now, I'm sure there's a million different things that different people, depending on what they're doing, could put in here. And like I said, this is pretty fluid, depending on the job. But these things are things that pretty much are in here all the time, and I may add some things to it here and there as I need to. And something I didn't show you, which is the reason I kind of bought this in the first place, was just to hold these for the most part. And it was so handy that every time I'd go do something, I'd start putting stuff in here, and then I would just leave it in there because, you know, it was handy to have most of the time. And so, you know, that's kind of how you build something like this up, is as you need things, put them in. If you find you're not using them later on down the road that much, take it out, put something else in that you're using more, and whatnot. But these fit here nice. I can grab these out, grab this out. Usually I have a drill bit in here, but it's not in there right now. I'm using it for something else. In there, I got, you know, my other flashlight and drill bits and all that, those little doodads and thingamajigs. I got more stuff that I can put in pockets. Here's the other thing I was going to show you right here. Now if I can get light on it, my bits and things. As you can see, this moves around with the pocket, and what it is, I have those magnets in there, and so as I pull things in and out, as long as you don't pull everything off of one magnet, the magnets will stay on the side, and my bits will stay where I can grab a hold of them, and I can reach down in there and grab what I want and put it back. I got a couple drill bits in there that I use more often for pilot holes and things like that. And like I said, it just is all magnetized, so it all stays in the bag, stays right there when I need it. I can see what tip I'm going to use, whether it's the Robinson or the Phillips. And yet again, those kind of are fluid depending on what I'm using. And then I got other tips down in there that go on these two here. But anyway, the little magnets, those things are invaluable for lots of different things. I've used them all over the bags at different times, depending on what I was doing. So anyway, thought I'd give you that little bit of a, not really review, but kind of a little, if you're, you know, a do-it-yourselfer, a little bag like this works really good. As you find tools that you need, stuff it in there, pull stuff out when you don't. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all, master of none. You all have a good one.